It has often been said that history is usually told by the victors of war. It would be more accurate to say that history is told by those who are covertly involved with the affairs of men. Rest assured that those who control the world's wealth are they who both manipulate many world events, as well as those who print the history books that those events are recorded within. Nevertheless, we can glean some reasonably accurate assemblage of history from varied sources of literature. Notwithstanding, the Bible was probably the most accurate account of historical events in existence, as no dark secrets of the affairs of men are covered up with half-truths, misinformation propaganda, and manipulation within its pages. Conversely, the Scriptures openly expose those deeds that are done in secret and shadow, and clearly exposes the nature of evil without bias or reserve. The Scriptures do not give an account of all historical events, yet within its pages we read of many accounts of the rise and fall of empires. Now these thoughts bring us to our topic at hand, the futility of world conquest. The global chess game of world dominion has been the pursuit of countless lords, kings, and tyrants for centuries. At this juncture we must ponder as to whether or not world conquest is indeed attainable with any remote chance of success. History will validate the fact that world conquest has escaped the grasp of all would-be dictators, regardless of how powerful, technologically advanced, and affluent the pursuant of such has been. Without failure, the dragons of conquest and power, as I like to call them, have failed every attempt to bring the world to its knees in humble servitude. Regardless of the length of time any world-class power has ruled with both fury and relentless might, the final chapter of all such regimes have ended with complete ruin and despair. From Babylon the Great, to the rule of the Egyptian pharaohs, to the iron fist of the Roman Empire, which spanned nearly 1,000 years, the end of all such powerful dominions have resulted in utter and complete destruction without exception. As I mentioned previously in this writing, the Scriptures record many such events with unerring accuracy and tells us in very simple terminology that God causes kings to reign, and He also causes kings to fall. God has very clearly demonstrated His sovereignty to both mankind as well as the evil one. Earthly kingdoms are seemingly therefore doomed to failure. As the intelligent researcher delves deeper into the Bible to explore this phenomena, the student of the Scriptures soon discovers that God does not end the rule of men out of whim and chance. God very understandably ended the rule of King Nebuchadnezzar simply because of his wickedness. Now the same is true of the city of Jericho, which fell at the hand of God, as fulfilled by Jeremiah the prophet. Jericho's rubble is still visible to this day as a monumental reminder of the events which led to her destruction. And the pitiable, sulfur remains of the city of Sodom and Gomorrah can also be seen today as a reminder of the abhorrent acts of sin which was performed within its walls. The burning porticos and pillars of Rome could be viewed for miles as flames transformed Rome into smoldering ash. Rome suffered from many ailments, certainly not the least of which consisted of a faulty government, corruption, greed, and the self-serving interest of the rich elite and the governors which represented them. This fomented in the never-ending accumulation of non-payable public and private debt. In short, greed and a ruthless taste for conquest and power left Rome in a very poor financial state. As a result, Rome could no longer afford to finance the massive armies required to guard the Roman frontier, which ultimately resulted with her defeat by several invading armies. Globalists today are of the conviction that they can make corruption work in their favor and succeed where Rome failed, and so therefore they proudly boast amongst themselves of a superior plan for world conquest. History has clearly demonstrated that world conquest is miserably doomed to fail due to the fact that God is still sovereign, and the evil, subversive wickedness of the affairs of men will always end in God's judgment. There has been no exception in the past for this ruling, and rest assured that there will be no exception for this spiritual law now or in the future. The grand plan for a new world order will not only result in destruction and chaos, but according to the Scriptures, such as the world has never witnessed before. Only in the end, after God has released His judgment upon the world, will wicked men realize that they were skillfully deceived by their Lord Lucifer. In fact, the brutal end to the reign of the Antichrist and the New World Order is clearly recorded in the book of Revelations for all to read. As God opened John's eyes upon the island of Patmos, he saw these events occur in real time, which indicates that these events have already been recorded within the future timeline. This is not only an amazing truth to grasp, but rather an intriguing law of physics to ponder. It is not only a choice of good moral sense to accept Jesus Christ and God's plan of salvation through him, but additionally it is an intelligent tactical decision to do so in lieu of our spiritual warfare. We are comforted by the Scriptures, knowing that he which has the Son has life. He that has not the Son of God has not life. We understand that the man who refuses Christ has passed from this world into eternal judgment. Unlike any previous king or prince upon the earth, when Jesus returns to reign for 1,000 years, he will demonstrate a perfect balance between government, religion, and economics. Christ will rule with a flawless government and an unparalleled economy. He will rule with impeccable moral perfection. There will be no war or empirical conquests, as Christ will rule with righteous judgment. When evil men rule with a heart of greed and the lust for power, it dooms their kingdoms to a state of mournful despotism. The Scriptures are ever so true in declaring in Proverbs 28:12, "When the righteous triumph, there is great elation, but when the wicked rise to power, men go into hiding." As I close my thoughts, I will take the risk of sharing a seemingly overquoted notation that absolute power corrupts absolutely, while taking respite in the fact that this moral principle is no less true at present and will remain so throughout all time.